Commander Elena Reyes ducked as sparks flew from a nearby console on the bridge of the Earth Defense Fleet flagship Athena. What had begun as a routine patrol of the Arcturus system had descended into chaos in seconds. "Their weapons are locked on our primary systems," shouted Tactical Officer Diaz, his hands flying across his console. No warning, no provocation. The alien vessel had appeared from nowhere, massive, angular, and bristling with technology far beyond human understanding. When the Athena had performed its standard greeting scan, a procedure humans considered as routine as a handshake, the alien ship had reacted with immediate hostility. "Maintaining position, Commander," Lieutenant Park announced from the helm, voice steady despite the tension filling the bridge. "They haven't fired yet." Ray studied the alien vessel on the main view screen. Its hull gleamed with a metallic iridescence that seemed to shift colors as she watched. The ship's design defied human architectural principles, asymmetrical, with protruding structures that seemed to serve no aerodynamic or defensive purpose. "Cease your violation immediately or face obliteration," came the translated message, the alien's voice unnaturally deep and resonating through the bridge speakers. "Your scanning technology is a Level 1 aggression under Galactic Compact law." The bridge crew exchanged confused glances. Level 1 aggression. Galactic Compact. These terms meant nothing to humanity, which had expanded to 12 star systems since developing FTL travel 50 years ago, but had encountered no intelligent alien life until today. Commander Reyes made a split-second decision. All stop. Power down scanning systems. Open a direct communication channel. "Are you sure, Commander?" asked Communications Officer John. "We'd be going in blind." "Better blind than dead," Reyes replied. "If our standard scan is perceived as hostile, let's remove the threat." The view screen flickered, and an alien appeared. It was tall, with iridescent scales covering a humanoid form and multiple eyes that seemed to focus independently. Its mouth didn't move in sync with the translated words. "I am Captain Zorthal of the Vexari Dominion, representing the authority of the Galactic Compact in this sector. You have subjected my crew to your mental intrusion technology. Explain this act of war." Reyes felt her blood run cold. Mental intrusion. She quickly introduced herself and attempted to defuse the situation. "Captain Zorthal, there's been a misunderstanding. Our scan is merely a standard protocol to identify vessel composition and intent. It's non-invasive by our understanding." The alien's multiple eyes narrowed, the pupils contracting to slits. "Impossible. No spacefaring species could be ignorant of what your technology does. It penetrates our neural interfaces. My crew experienced your presence inside their minds." Reyes glanced at Science Officer Katri, who shook her head in confusion. "Our scanning technology uses quantum tunneling to create a three-dimensional model of your vessel's systems," Chatri explained, stepping forward. "It shouldn't interact with biological systems at all." "Yet it does," Zorthal replied coldly. "Your quantum frequencies directly interface with the neural tech integration common to all compact vessels. Your scan felt like having our minds forcibly examined." The implications hit Reyes like a physical blow. Humanity's standard first contact protocol, designed to be cautious and non-threatening, was apparently the equivalent of a psychic attack to these aliens. "Captain, we genuinely had no knowledge of this effect. Humanity has never encountered another intelligent species before today. Our technology was developed in isolation, without understanding how it might affect others." Zorthal remained silent for several moments, multiple eyes blinking in different patterns. Finally, he spoke. "Your claim will be investigated. Prepare to receive a delegation from my vessel. If you are truthful about your ignorance, diplomatic solutions may be possible. If you have lied." The alien didn't finish the threat. As the communication ended, Reyes turned to her senior staff. "I want our top xenobiologists and quantum physicists ready to meet this delegation. If our scanning technology somehow interfaces with their neural systems, we need to understand how and why." "Commander," Science Officer Katri said quietly. If our quantum tunneling technology can actually interface with their neural systems, the implications go beyond first contact protocols. It suggests human perception of quantum states may be fundamentally different from theirs. Before Rice could respond, tactical alerts blared. 3 more alien vessels had appeared at the edge of the system, their designs similar to Zorthal's ship, but even larger. "They're hailing us," reported Zhang. "Put them through," Rice ordered, straightening her uniform. A different alien appeared, similar to Zorthal in basic morphology, but with darker scales and elaborate mechanical augmentations integrated into its body. "I am Admiral Tevvak of the Vexeri Defense Force," the new alien announced. "Captain Zorthal has reported a potential first contact situation involving a species with invasive scanning capability. Your vessel will be escorted to Diplomatic Station Helios for formal assessment under compact protocols." "Admiral," Rice replied, choosing her words carefully, "we will cooperate fully, but I must insist that my government be informed of this development. We have colony worlds that need to be warned about this misunderstanding before more incidents occur." The alien admiral considered this. "One of your smaller vessels may detach and return to your territory with this information. The flagship will accompany us." As the communication ended, Rice dispatched her executive officer on the fastest ship in their small fleet to warn Earth about the situation. Then she prepared to face whatever awaited them at this Diplomatic Station Helios. As the Athena moved into formation with the alien vessels, Rice stared out at the stars. Humanity had spent decades searching for other intelligent life in the universe, hoping for a moment of connection and shared understanding. Instead, their first contact hinged on a profound misunderstanding. What humans considered a simple hello was perceived as a violation by the rest of the galaxy. The implications were troubling. If such a basic technology could cause this reaction, what other human capabilities might be seen as threats? The journey to first contact had just begun, and already it teetered on the edge of becoming humanity's first interstellar war. Commander Elena Rice found herself sitting alone in a sterile room aboard the Vexeri vessel, her uniform confiscated, wearing only a simple gray jumpsuit. The walls pulsed with faint bioluminescence, and she could swear they occasionally moved when she wasn't looking directly at them. Hours had passed since she'd been separated from her crew. The Vexeri had insisted that the captain undergo verification procedures before formal diplomatic discussions could begin. The rest of the Athena's crew remained aboard, under guard but unharmed, according to the last communication she'd received. Rice ran her fingers along the seamless wall, feeling a slight vibration beneath her touch. The surface felt neither warm nor cool, an unnerving neutrality that heightened her sense of displacement. There were no visible doors, no apparent way in or out of the chamber. The wall before her suddenly rippled like disturbed water, and a section dissolved rather than opened. Captain Zorthal entered with what appeared to be a scientist, a more slender Vexari with specialized apparatus integrated into its exoskeleton. Where Zorthal had a military bearing, this new alien moved with precise, delicate motions, its multiple eyes focusing and refocusing constantly. "This is Kelnera, our xenobiological specialist," Zorthal said. "You claim ignorance of your violation. We shall verify this claim directly." Ray stood, maintaining the dignified posture expected of an Earth Defense Fleet commander. "I've agreed to cooperate with your investigation, but I need assurances that my crew will remain safe." "Your concern is noted," Zorthal replied, his tone neither reassuring nor threatening. "The outcome for your crew depends entirely on our findings here." Kelnera approached with a device that hummed ominously, a slender apparatus with fine, translucent filaments extending from one end. "This will be uncomfortable but non-damaging. We must understand how your species perceives reality." Rice tensed as the device activated near her head. The humming increased in pitch, and the filaments began to glow with an interior blue light. Then came the sensation, like fingers rifling through her thoughts, but mechanical and cold. She gasped involuntarily, her knees weakening. "Remain still," Kelnera instructed, multiple eyes narrowing in concentration. Resistance increases discomfort. Reyes forced herself to breathe steadily as the invasive sensation continued. Images flashed through her mind. Childhood memories. Tactical training scenarios. The first time she commanded a starship. She felt exposed, violated in a way physical examinations could never achieve. "Now you understand," Zorful said, watching her reaction. "This is a fraction of what your scanning technology does to us." The procedure continued for what felt like hours but was likely only minutes. Kelnera directed the device to different positions around Reyes' head, occasionally making soft clicking sounds that might have been expressions of surprise. Finally, after several excruciating minutes, Kelnera stepped back, the device powering down. The Vexeri scientist's eyes blinked in alternating patterns, what Reyes was beginning to recognize as their equivalent of facial expressions. "Captain, the human speaks truth," Kelnera said, voice containing unmistakable awe. "Her neural structure is unlike anything in our records. They perceive quantum states directly, without technological assistance. Their brains process information on levels most species require implants to achieve." Zorfol's posture shifted, a subtle relaxation of the exoskeletal plates that suggested surprise. "Impossible. No biological evolution could produce such capability naturally." "Yet it has," Kelnera insisted, manipulating controls on the device to display holographic representations of what appeared to be brain scans. "Their scanning technology is merely an extension of their natural perception. It's as if they evolved to perceive reality on quantum levels." Zorfil approached Reyes, now with something resembling respect mixed with fear. "Commander, your species has inadvertently created what the rest of the galaxy would consider a weapon of psychic violation, yet you use it as casually as we would use our eyes." "We had no idea," Reyes replied, still recovering from the invasive procedure. "To us, it's just seeing." Kelnera continued analyzing the data. "Their quantum perception appears linked to their planet's unique electromagnetic field. Earth has unusual properties that may have created evolutionary pressure for this adaptation." Zorful circled Reyes slowly, reassessing her as this new information changed everything. "You must understand, Commander, that to the rest of the galactic community, your natural abilities represent a profound threat. Species that evolved without understanding their powers often wield them most dangerously." "We're not a threat," Reyes insisted. "Humanity seeks peaceful contact with other civilizations. We've never had aggressive intentions." "Intentions matter less than capabilities in the Compact's security assessments," Zorfil replied. "The Galactic Compact maintains peace between hundreds of spacefaring species through careful regulation of potentially disruptive technologies. Your species possesses, as a natural trait, what would be classified as a prohibited technology if artificially developed." The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just facing first contact complications, they were inadvertently violating galactic law through their very existence. "What happens now?" Reyes asked. Zorful gestured, and the wall dissolved again. 2 more Vexeri entered, these clearly security personnel based on their heavier exoskeletons and weapon harnesses. "You will be returned to your vessel while I consult with Compact authorities. Your ship will remain under guard, but your crew may move freely within it. I advise using this time to prepare a formal presentation explaining human perception and technology. You will need to convince the Compact Council that humanity can be trusted with abilities that would be prohibited in any other species." As Reyes was escorted back to the shuttle bay, Kelnera followed, still studying readings from the examination device. "Commander," the scientist said quietly when they reached the shuttle, "there is something else you should know. Your perceptual abilities have implications beyond security concerns. There are species within the Compact who would view humans as valuable research subjects. Be cautious in your interactions." Before Reyes could ask for clarification, she was ushered onto the shuttle. As it departed the Vexeri vessel, She watched the alien ship through the viewport, its strange architecture now seeming more ominous than exotic. Aboard the Athena, Reyes immediately called her senior staff to the briefing room, explaining what she'd learned about human perception and its implications for their first contact situation. So our standard scanning technology is essentially giving these aliens the equivalent of a forced mind reading. Science Officer Capri asked, horrified. That's how they perceive it, Reyes confirmed. And apparently, it's not just the technology. It's us. Humans naturally perceive quantum states that other species can only detect through technological augmentation. That's why they reacted so strongly to our scan, Tactical Officer Dias realized. It wasn't just a technical violation. It felt personally invasive. Reyes nodded, the full weight of the situation settling on her shoulders. We're being taken to meet representatives of something called the Galactic Compact, apparently an alliance of hundreds of spacefaring species, and we've just introduced ourselves by inadvertently violating their most fundamental privacy taboos. What do they want from us? Asked Lieutenant Park. For now, a better understanding of how we perceive reality, Reyes replied. But long term, I don't know. Zorthal implied our natural abilities would be considered illegal technology if artificially developed. She stared out the briefing room viewport at the escort of alien vessels surrounding them. Humanity has searched for other intelligent life for centuries. Now we found not just one alien species, but hundreds, and our first impression has been to terrify them with abilities we never knew were unusual. The Athena continued its journey toward Diplomatic Station Helios, where humanity would face judgment for perceptual abilities they hadn't even known were extraordinary. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Compact stretched impossibly high, with hovering platforms accommodating hundreds of alien species. The architecture defied human understanding. Spaces seemed to overlap without intersecting, and gravity shifted subtly between different sectors of the chamber. At the center stood a delegation of 7 humans, including Commander Reyes and Admiral Weichen, feeling like primitives before a tribunal of gods. The 2 weeks since their arrival at Diplomatic Station Helios had been a whirlwind of preparations. Earth had sent its finest scientists and diplomats once the Athena's executive officer delivered news of first contact. Admiral Chen had personally led the diplomatic mission, bringing specialists in quantum physics, neurology, and exobiology to help explain human perception. The Compact's adjudicator, a being of swirling energy contained within a mechanized shell, spoke with a voice that seemed to bypass ears and resonate directly in the brain. The Galactic Compact convenes this special assessment council to evaluate the species designation, Human Following Incident Report TC-7729, filed by Captain Zorthal of the Vexari Dominion. The adjudicator's resonant voice carried without amplification throughout the vast chamber. Humanity stands accused of deploying invasive perceptual technology against Compact citizens. How do you answer? Admiral Chen stepped forward. The distinguished officer, with silver-streaked hair and a bearing that commanded respect even among aliens, addressed the council with careful precision. Esteemed adjudicator, representatives of the Galactic Compact, we plead ignorance, not innocence. Upon learning of the effect our scanning protocols have on your neural systems, we have immediately modified all human vessels to prevent unintended violations. We seek understanding and peaceful integration with the galactic community. A cacophony of protests erupted from various delegations. The Keldari representative, a heavily armored insectoid being with mechanized appendages, rose from its platform, mandibles clicking aggressively as it spoke. Ignorance is no excuse for violation. The humans deployed technology that accessed the neural interfaces of Captain Zorthal's crew without consent. By Compact Law, Sections 47.3 through 52.9, their systems must be confiscated and their technological development placed under supervision until they demonstrate compliance with Compact standards. Several delegations signaled agreement, their platforms illuminating with colors that Reyes assumed indicated voting or sentiment within the council. Others remained neutral, while a few, notably the gossamer-like beings that had been identified as the ancient Aelori species, indicated what appeared to be opposition to the Keldari position. Dr. Samira Patel, Earth's lead quantum physicist and neural interface specialist, requested permission to approach the central platform. The adjudicator granted this with a subtle shift in its energy patterns. Using holographic displays that interfaced seamlessly with the compact systems, technology provided by their Vexeri liaisons, Dr. Patel demonstrated how human scanning technology was built upon natural human perceptual abilities. Distinguished representatives, she began, her voice steady despite the pressure. Human quantum scanning technology is not an artificial construct designed to violate privacy. It is merely an extension of our natural neurological structure. The holographic display showed comparative scans of human brains alongside those of various compact species. As you can see, human brains naturally process quantum information through these specialized neural structures. She indicated regions that glowed brightly in the human scans. Our scanning technology simply extends this natural ability. The implications being, interrupted a floating, gelatinous entity from a higher platform, that we cannot simply confiscate and regulate their technology without regulating the humans themselves. Precisely, Dr. Patel confirmed. We can't confiscate the way humans perceive reality. Our scanning technology merely extends what our brains already do naturally. The hall erupted in shocked murmurs, translated through the neural interfaces that most delegates wore, a species whose basic perception violated the privacy of other beings. It was unprecedented. Commander Rice watched as delegations conferred among themselves, some clearly disturbed by the implications. The Keldari representative's exoskeleton clattered with what translators interpreted as agitation. Then they are inherently dangerous, the Keldari declared. A species that naturally violates the neural sovereignty of others cannot be permitted unrestricted development. They must be contained. Admiral Chen stepped forward again. We reject the characterization of humanity as a threat. We have peacefully explored 12 star systems without conflict. Upon learning of our perception's effect on others, we immediately implemented modifications to minimize discomfort. We seek cooperation, not confrontation. The ancient Aelori delegation, beings of gossamer appearance, with translucent bodies housing visible, complex neural structures, requested formal recognition. Their representative, High Counselor Viridian, approached the human delegation with flowing movements that seemed almost liquid. The Council acknowledges High Counselor Viridian of the Aelori Convergence, the adjudicator announced. The Aelori approached Dr. Patel and placed a tendril against her temple. The scientist had been briefed about this possibility. The Aelori were known for direct neural assessment, considered non-invasive because they shared their own thoughts equally during the connection. After a moment of silent communion, Viridian addressed the assembly in a voice that sounded like harmonizing crystals. I have shared consciousness with the human. Their perception is indeed natural, not technological. Humanity is not malicious, merely alien in the truest sense. They perceive what we keep private without effort or intent. They are danger and opportunity intertwined. This statement created visible reactions across the chamber. The Aelori were among the oldest species in the combat, their assessments given significant weight. For them to describe humans as opportunity balanced against the danger assessment was meaningful. The assembly descended into factional arguments. Military-focused species, led by the Keldari, demanded containment and restrictions on human expansion. Scientific delegations advocated for research partnerships. Trade-focused groups calculated the economic implications of human perceptual abilities. As the debate continued, Commander Rice noticed several delegates surreptitiously accessing data channels, all focused on Earth's defensive capabilities, colony locations, and technological development. Some were clearly assessing humanity as a threat, others as an opportunity to exploit. The realization was chilling. She leaned toward Admiral Chen. Sir, multiple delegations are gathering intelligence on our military capabilities. Some appear to be making threat assessments. Chen nodded slightly, having noticed the same. Standard procedure when encountering a new species, I expect, but concerning nonetheless. After hours of debate, the adjudicator called for order. The compact has reached a preliminary determination. Humanity shall be granted provisional membership status with the following conditions. First, all human vessels must be retrofitted with warning systems that broadcast their perceptual capabilities when operating in compact space. Second, human representatives in compact facilities must wear damping technology to limit their natural perceptual reach. Third, a compact observation mission will be established on Earth to monitor human technological development related to their unique perceptual abilities. Admiral Chen exchanged glances with his team before responding. We accept these conditions with the understanding that the observation mission will respect Earth's sovereignty and require approval for any information gathering. So stipulated, the adjudicator confirmed. Humanity is now provisionally recognized under compact statute. This council is adjourned. As the delegates dispersed, High Counselor Viridian approached the human delegation once more. You should know, the Aelori said quietly, that what happened today has fractured the compact along existing fault lines. Some see you as a threat to be contained, others as an opportunity to exploit, and a few as potential allies. Tread carefully, especially with the Keldari. They fear what they cannot control, and you, by your very nature, are beyond their control. Rise watched the various delegations departing, their alien forms and movements reinforcing how far humanity had to go in understanding their new place in the galaxy. They had come seeking friendly contact with other intelligent life. Instead, they had found themselves at the center of a complex political web, where their very existence was seen as both miraculous and threatening. So, Admiral Chen said, watching the last delegates depart, our welcome to the galactic community is essentially a probation order. Better than the alternatives some were suggesting, Rise replied. But we need to prepare Earth for the implications. Our natural abilities make us targets as much as they make us special. As they were escorted from the chamber, Rise couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of humanity's challenges. The way multiple species had been assessing Earth's defenses suggested that not everyone would be content with the compact's diplomatic solution. They had discovered they weren't alone in the universe. But rather than finding simple friendship among the stars, they had stumbled into a complex interstellar society where humanity's most basic perceptions marked them as fundamentally alien, even to aliens. 3 months after joining the Galactic Compact under provisional terms, humanity was adapting to its complicated position. Human vessels now broadcasted warning signals before activating any scanning technology, and diplomatic protocols required human representatives to wear special damping devices that limited their natural perceptual abilities when meeting with sensitive species. Earth had established its embassy on Concordia Station, the massive diplomatic hub of the Compact. Commander Elena Reyes, recognized for her handling of first contact, had been appointed as security liaison to the embassy, a position that utilized her tactical experience while acknowledging her familiarity with compact protocols. Tonight, Rise had finally managed to fall asleep after reviewing security procedures for an upcoming diplomatic reception. The embassy had been operating for less than a month, and every day brought new challenges in balancing human needs with compact expectations. The harsh blare of an emergency alert jolted her awake. The embassy's AI announced with clinical precision, security breach detected. Laboratory section. Authentication required. Rise leaped from bed, grabbing her sidearm and badge. Authentication raised Delta 79. Details. Motion sensors triggered in restricted Laboratory 3. Security barriers compromised. Medical emergency detected. She sprinted through the corridors in her nightwear, barefoot on the cool floors. Other staff emerged from their quarters in confusion, but Rise waved them back. Security Protocol Sigma. Return to quarters and secure all stations. Laboratory 3 housed the most sensitive research on human perceptual abilities. Dr. Elisa Nguyen led a team studying how human quantum perception could be modified to reduce its invasive impact on other species. Their work was classified even within the embassy. Reyes reached the laboratory wing to find embassy security officers surrounding the sealed entrance. Chief Rodriguez approached, his expression grim. "Commander, we have a situation. The inner lab doors were bypassed using compact security codes, ones that shouldn't exist." The research team. "No response from inside. We're maintaining the isolation protocol until you authorize breach." Reyes nodded. "Open it." Security stance Alpha. The doors slid apart, revealing a scene of horror that stopped Reyes cold. 3 bodies lay on the laboratory floor. Dr. Nguyen's assistants. Each had been methodically killed, their skulls surgically opened with precision cuts that exposed their brains. Parts of the neural tissue had been removed with surgical precision. Most disturbing was what was missing: Dr. Nguyen herself. "The attack bypassed all security systems," reported Rodriguez, scanning the room with professional detachment that barely masked his horror. No alarms until a routine patrol spotted the forced door. They knew exactly where our sensors were positioned. Reyes activated her emergency communicator. "Contact Compact Security. We have a Level 1 incident at the human embassy. Multiple casualties, possible abduction." Within minutes, Compact Security arrived, led by a Vexari officer who refused to meet Reyes' eyes, a common behavior of species uncomfortable with human perception, even when humans wore the required damping devices. "This is beyond coincidence," the Vexari officer noted after examining the scene. The attackers took specific neural tissue samples from each victim, the dorsolateral prefrontal region, and the quantum-sensitive ganglia unique to human brains. They were harvesting your perceptual organs. And Dr. Nguyen. If she was taken alive, it was because they want to study her perceptual abilities in a functioning state. The Vexari's multiple eyes blinked in a pattern Reyes had learned to recognize as distress. "Commander, this bears the hallmark of black market neurological harvesting. There are entities within the compact who would pay extremely well for access to unique neural structures." As the investigation continued through the night, reports arrived of coordinated attacks on 3 other human facilities across compact space. A research outpost on Proxima Station had lost 5 scientists to similar surgical murders. A diplomatic shuttle had been found drifting, its crew missing. A human merchant vessel reported a boarding attempt that had been repelled, but not before 1 crew member was taken. Earth demanded answers, but the Compact Council seemed suspiciously reluctant to investigate thoroughly. Representatives expressed condolences, but suggested the attacks might be the work of fringe elements responding to uncertainty about human integration into the Compact. Only the Alori delegation supported human concerns, providing intelligence through unofficial channels that pointed to a disturbing possibility. Someone was attempting to reverse engineer human perceptual abilities. There are factions who believe your natural abilities could be replicated through neural grafting. High Counselor Viridian explained during a secured meeting with Reyes and Ambassador Jackson. They are wrong, dangerously wrong, but this will not stop them from trying. You're saying someone is harvesting human brain tissue to try to give themselves our perceptual abilities? Ambassador Jackson asked, horrified. It would not be the first time such atrocities have been committed in pursuit of biological advantages, Viridian confirmed. The Compact officially prohibits such research, but enforcement varies across sectors. Reyes reviewed the security footage again, looking for any clue to the attackers' identities. The perpetrators had used advanced cloaking technology that left only the faintest visual distortions, technology that shouldn't have been available to fringe elements. "We need to increase security at all human facilities," she told Ambassador Jackson. "And we need to warn Earth. These aren't random attacks. They're coordinated attempts to acquire our neurological structures." 2 weeks after the embassy attack, a Keldari diplomatic vessel requested emergency docking at Concordia Station. The ship's automated systems reported catastrophic life support failures and biological contamination. When Compact Security boarded, they found a scene even more grotesque than the embassy murders. The entire crew was dead, their exoskeletons ruptured from within, as if something had grown inside them and burst out. The ship's logs were heavily encrypted, but fragments recovered by Alori specialists revealed horrifying experiments. The Keldari vessel had been a covert research ship conducting illegal biological trials. They had been experimenting with grafting preserved human neural tissue into Keldari subjects, attempting to give them human perceptual abilities. The specimens had integrated successfully at first, then driven their hosts insane as the Keldari brains couldn't process the sudden influx of quantum perceptual information. The final log entries described subjects experiencing perceptual overload and neural cascades before attacking each other in psychotic episodes. Ambassador Jackson presented this evidence to the Compact Council, demanding action. These weren't random attacks. They were state-sponsored atrocities by the Keldari Imperium, aimed at weaponizing human biological traits. The Keldari representative denied involvement, claiming the vessel had been operating outside official protocols. If such research occurred, it was conducted by rogue elements without imperial sanction. The council ordered an investigation, but political divisions were becoming clear. Species aligned with the Keldari, mostly those with military or expansionist priorities, argued for containment of the human problem. Others, particularly knowledge-focused species like the Alori, advocated for protected status for humans as a unique evolutionary development. Reyes attended a closed security briefing with Earth Fleet Command, now expanded to include representatives from all human colonies. Admiral Chen presented the assessment bluntly. We're facing a coordinated attempt to acquire and weaponize human perceptual abilities. The Keldari are the most likely culprits, but they may not be alone. All human facilities must implement enhanced security protocols immediately. No human should travel alone in compact space. We should withdraw from the compact entirely, suggested the Mars colony representative. Return to our systems and fortify. Isolation isn't an option, Reyes countered. We've been discovered. The compact knows where our worlds are. If we withdraw, we lose what protections their laws provide, limited as they are. Admiral Chen nodded grimly. Commander Reyes is correct. Our path forward is neither withdrawal nor blind trust. We must engage with the compact while strengthening our position, and we must find Dr. Nguyen and the other missing humans, alive or dead. That night, reviewing security feeds in her office, Reyes discovered something disturbing. During the embassy attack, several security systems had been accessing classified databases on human neural structure. The access codes traced back to a high-level compact security official, one who had been among the first responders to the attack. The realization was chilling. The corruption went beyond the Keldari. Someone high in the compact's own security apparatus was involved in the harvesting of human neural tissue. Humanity had sought peaceful contact with alien life, only to discover that their unique evolutionary traits made them targets, not just for fear or diplomacy, but for something far worse: biological harvesting aimed at stealing the very thing that made them special. Reyes stared at the security logs, a cold determination settling over her. Someone was hunting humans for their brains. It was time to hunt back. Captain Elena Reyes, given emergency command of the advanced patrol vessel Hermes, studied the tactical display with growing concern. The distress signal from Outpost Gamma 7 near the lawless Veran expanse had gone silent 20 minutes ago, but the outpost's automated beacons still broadcast evidence of an ongoing attack. All hands to battle stations, she ordered. Tactical, prepare defensive systems, but hold on active scanning. We go in quiet. The Hermes represented Earth's newest defensive technology, a vessel designed to minimize the invasive aspects of human perceptual systems while preserving their advantages. Its crew had been handpicked from veterans of first contact situations, people who understood the delicate balance between human abilities and alien sensitivities. Captain, we're detecting a civilian transport under attack, reported Lieutenant Merrick at the sensor station. Compact registry. Passenger liner Celestial Dream. Multiple hostiles surrounding it. The view screen showed a sleek passenger vessel surrounded by ships unlike any in compact records. The attacking vessels flickered in and out of detection, appearing ghost-like even to human perception. Visible one moment, distorting like heat mirages the next. Quantum displacement technology, muttered Science Officer Park, analyzing the readings. They're partially shifting into adjacent quantum states. That's why they're difficult to track. Survivors on the passenger vessel? Rise asked. Life signs present. Multiple species. The ship's being boarded, not destroyed. Rise made a quick decision. Tactical. Target the disruption patterns, not the visible ship profiles. Gunners, switch to manual targeting. Bypass computer assistance. The order raised eyebrows. Computer targeting was standard procedure, but Reyes had learned to trust human perception over technology when dealing with quantum state manipulations. All gunners, this is your captain. You'll be seeing ghost images of the targets. Trust your eyes, not your displays. The ships are where you feel they are, not where the computers say they are. The Hermes accelerated toward the engagement zone, its presence still undetected by the attackers. When they reached optimal range, Reyes gave the command. Fire. The human gunners, relying on their natural perception rather than targeting computers, scored direct hits where compact weapons would have fired at empty space. 3 of the attacking vessels shimmered into full visibility as their displacement systems failed, shields collapsing under the precisely targeted fire. The pirates, realizing they'd lost their advantage of stealth, scattered in different directions, abandoning their assault on the passenger liner. 2 managed to escape into the Varan expanse, but the Hermes disabled a third with a precision shot to its propulsion systems. Boarding teams, prepare for hostile vessel insertion, Reyes ordered. Full tactical gear, neural dampers off. I want human perception at maximum. The decision wasn't taken lightly. Removing neural dampers would make the human boarding team's perceptual abilities fully active, something that could be distressing to any compact citizens they encountered. But against an unknown threat using quantum displacement technology, human perception would be their greatest advantage. The boarding operation took 17 minutes. When the team reported the vessel secure, Commander Reyes joined the second wave to see for herself what they'd captured. Inside, they found a horrifying sight. The ship was operated by surgically modified aliens with crude human neural tissue implanted in their brains. The graphs were unstable, clearly causing pain and cognitive disruption to the hosts, primarily Vexeri and Keldari subjects, with a few species Reyes didn't recognize. They've been butchered, Medical Officer Chen reported, scanning one unconscious pirate. The human neural tissue has been grafted directly into their sensory cortex. It's not integrating properly. It's causing neurological cascades through their systems. The ship's logs were encrypted, but technical teams found something more valuable. A dying pilot willing to talk. The modified Vexeri laughed maniacally during interrogation, green fluid leaking from multiple eyes. We are the first wave, the pilot rasped. The prototypes. The Supreme Commander says soon all Keldari warships will have the human advantage. Cut from your kind. Grow in ours. Who is your Supreme Commander? Reyes demanded. The Great Valkis. The pilot answered, mandibles clicking in what might have been pride. He will remake the compact with those who see truly at its center. Valkis. The name was familiar. The Supreme Commander of the Keldari Imperium's military forces, who had been notably silent during the diplomatic negotiations following the neural tissue thefts. Why attack the passenger liner? Reyes pressed. Special passengers. The ones who help humans hide their abilities. The ones who protect you. With mounting dread, Reyes accessed the passenger manifest of the Celestial Dream. 6 Aelori scientists were aboard, all specialists in neural integration who had been helping humanity develop non-invasive versions of their perceptual technology. They weren't just pirates, Rise told Admiral Chen during her secure transmission after securing the passenger vessel. They're part of a coordinated Kildare operation to weaponize human perception, while eliminating those helping us control it. The Alori scientists. Chen asked. Safe, but shaken. They confirm the Kildare have been systematically targeting anyone helping humans adapt to compact standards. This isn't opportunistic crime. It's strategic elimination of allies. More disturbing was what technical teams discovered in the captured ship's navigation system. The pirates had known the exact course of the Celestial Dream before it had been filed with compact authorities. The passenger manifest had been classified information, available only to high-level compact security. Someone on the Compact Council is feeding information to the Kildare, Rise concluded. This operation had inside help at the highest levels. As rescue vessels arrived to assist the passenger liner, Rise supervised the transfer of the surviving pirates to compact custody. The evidence was irrefutable. The Kildare were violating the most fundamental compact laws by harvesting and implanting human neural tissue. Yet something bothered her about the situation. The neural grafting technology was crude, causing obvious suffering to the subjects. The Kildare were known for technological sophistication. Why use such primitive methods unless they're testing prototypes, she realized, sharing her insight with Science Officer Park. These pirates are expendable test subjects. The Kildare are using them to perfect the integration process before implementing it in their own military forces. If they succeeded, if they found a way to successfully integrate human neural tissue with Kildare biology, they would gain the perceptual advantages that made humans unique without the evolutionary adaptations that made those abilities natural and manageable. The implications were chilling. The Kildare were creating a bioweapon from humanity's most fundamental trait, and they had allies within the Compact helping them do it. As the Herms escorted the passenger liner to safety, Rais composed her official report to Earth Defense Command. The final line read, "We are no longer facing diplomatic challenges or isolated criminal actions. This is a coordinated military operation by the Kildare Imperium targeting humanity's biological uniqueness. We must prepare accordingly." The Phantom Fleet had been only the first wave. The real storm was yet to come. The Compact Security Council convened an emergency session on Concordia Station. Evidence of Kildare experiments with human neural tissue had created a diplomatic crisis, with many species now viewing both humans and Kildare with increased suspicion. The circular chamber hummed with tension as representatives from 17 key compact species arranged themselves on tiered platforms. At the center podium, Admiral Chen presented findings from the captured pirate vessel, his uniform crisp despite the exhaustion evident in his eyes. "The evidence is conclusive," he stated, projecting images of the modified pirates. These individuals were surgically altered with stolen human neural tissue in an attempt to replicate our perceptual abilities. The navigation data and command protocols trace directly back to Kildare military frequencies. Commander Rais, now serving as Earth's security liaison to the Council, watched the reactions from her position behind Chen. After months among alien dignitaries, she had learned to read their body language. The subtle shifts in posture and coloration that revealed their thoughts as clearly as facial expressions did for humans. The Kildare delegation, led by Ambassador Thexkull, bristled visibly. The insectoid diplomat's armored exoskeleton clattered as he rose to respond, manipulator appendages gesturing dismissively. "These are rogue elements," he insisted, mandibles clicking rhythmically. "Criminals exploiting the confusion following first contact with humans. The Imperium would never condone such barbaric experimentation. We are a civilization of order and procedure." The debate grew heated, with various factions taking sides. The militaristic Vraxian Confederation supported the Kildare position, while the mercantile Gorvani League demanded sanctions against both parties for destabilizing trade routes. Through it all, Commander Rais noticed something strange about the Vexari delegate, senior diplomat Mevinar. The Vexari had been among humanity's first contacts, and had generally maintained a cautious but fair stance in compact deliberations. Today, however, Mevnar seemed unusually supportive of the Keldari position, arguing against stronger investigation into their activities. More concerning were subtle anomalies in the Vexari's movements. Having spent considerable time with Captain Zorthul and other Vexari officials, Reyes had become familiar with their characteristic motions, the way their multiple eyes focused independently, the rhythm of their breathing apparatus, the subtle color shifts in their scales that indicated emotional states. Mevnar's movements seemed practiced rather than natural. The eye movements were too synchronized, the scale coloration too static. Using her natural perceptual abilities, enhanced by training with Aelori mentors, Reyes focused more deeply on the Vexari delegate. Behind the normal quantum signatures of a Vexari nervous system, she detected something else. Patterns that resembled human neural activity, but distorted and confined to specific regions of the brain. It was as if portions of human neural tissue had been grafted into the Vexari's brain, creating hybrid thought patterns that shouldn't exist in a pure Vexari. In the middle of a particularly heated exchange between the Keldari and Aelori representatives, Reyes quietly approached Captain Zorthul, who had become an unlikely ally since first contact. "That's not Delegate Mevnar," she whispered, keeping her voice low. "The quantum signature is wrong. The neural patterns show human tissue integration." Zorthul's multiple eyes swiveled toward her, then toward his fellow Vexari. His breathing apparatus fluttered, the Vexari equivalent of a sharp intake of breath. "Are you certain?" he asked, his voice equally quiet. "Absolutely. The perceptual signature is hybrid, Vexari physiology with human neural grafting. Similar to the pirates, but more sophisticated." Zorthul subtly signaled his security team positioned around the chamber. 4 Vexari security officers began moving into position, their movements casual but purposeful. As they closed in on the false delegate, Mevnar's posture suddenly stiffened. The imposter had noticed the security team's movement. Before anyone could react, the false Vexari lunged across the chamber with unnatural speed, produced a concealed weapon from within a breathing apparatus, and seized the nearest delegate, the Aelori High Counselor Viridian. "Nobody move," the imposter shouted, pressing the weapon against the delicate, translucent structures of the Aelori's head. "The Keldari fleet awaits my signal to attack Concordia. One wrong move, and I'll kill the Aelori and trigger the assault." The chamber erupted in chaos. Security forces drew weapons but hesitated, unwilling to risk the ancient Aelori counselor's life. The Keldari delegation protested vehemently, claiming no knowledge of the imposter. Reyes, relying on her ability to perceive the imposter's nervous system, watched the neural patterns flickering through the false Vexari's brain. The hybrid neural structure created distinctive patterns that telegraphed intentions microseconds before physical movement. "When I give the signal, drop to the floor," she whispered to Viridian through their neural comm link, a secure communication method the Aelori had taught human delegates. The imposter's neural patterns shifted, indicating preparation for a threatening movement. Reyes tensed, waiting for the perfect moment when the weapon would move slightly away from Viridian's head. There, a microsecond window as the imposter adjusted grip. Now, Reyes sent through the neural link. As Viridian dropped, Reyes launched herself across the chamber with precision that seemed impossible, tackling the false delegate with a perfectly timed strike that knocked the weapon away while avoiding the Vexari's natural defensive spines. Security forces swarmed in, subduing the imposter while medical teams rushed to check Viridian for injuries. The chamber remained in uproar as the Keldari delegation vociferously denied involvement. In a secure medical facility below the council chambers, examination revealed the shocking truth. The real Vexari delegate Mevnar had been killed and replaced by a surgically modified Keldari operative. The imposter's body showed extensive modification, including implanted human neural tissue that had been integrated with far greater sophistication than the pirate subjects. "The neural integration is advanced," reported Dr. Lyon, Earth's representative to the medical examination team. This wasn't a crude experiment. The human tissue has been successfully integrated with the imposter's sensory systems, giving them limited versions of human perceptual abilities. More shocking was the discovery of a quantum trigger device surgically implanted in the imposter's thoracic cavity. Analysis confirmed it was designed to deactivate Concordia's defense systems by transmitting specific frequency codes that would have allowed a Caldari attack force to bypass the station's considerable defenses. Had the imposter succeeded, Admiral Chen explained to the reconvened council, this station and all aboard, including representatives from every compact species, would have been defenseless against a Caldari attack. Examination of the imposter's communication implants revealed the final proof: regular transmissions to Caldari military command vessels, including detailed compact security protocols, defense codes, and classified diplomatic information. The modified Caldari had been leaking classified information to the Imperium for months. The Caldari delegation's protests fell on deaf ears. Evidence of their direct involvement in both the neural harvesting program and the infiltration of compact security was irrefutable. The Council voted unanimously to expel the Caldari delegation from the compact, freezing their assets and revoking their trading privileges. All Caldari vessels throughout compact space are hereby ordered to return to Caldari territory within 72 hours, announced the compact High Counselor. Any remaining beyond that time will be subject to internment under suspicion of espionage. That night, as Reyes drafted her report to Earth Defense Command, alert signals blared throughout Concordia Station. Long-range sensors detected a massive fleet crossing the Caldari border into compact space, over 200 warships moving in attack formation. The first galactic war in 3 centuries had begun, sparked by one species' determination to possess another's natural abilities. Humanity had sought peaceful contact with alien civilizations, only to become the center of a conflict that would reshape the compact itself. As Reyes rushed to the command center, she reflected grimly on humanity's position. They had been thrust into this war not through aggression or expansion, but simply because of what they were. The question now was whether humanity's unique perceptual abilities would prove to be their salvation, or make them the most coveted spoils of war. 6 months into the war, the compact found itself on the defensive. The Caldari had deployed their Phantom fleet, warships equipped with both quantum displacement technology and crews surgically modified with stolen human neural tissue. Though the grafting process was imperfect, leaving many crew members mentally unstable, it gave them enough of an advantage to bypass compact detection systems. The Rigel system, a crucial junction of 7 major trade routes, was next in the Caldari advance. Its fall would cripple compact supply lines and potentially split their defensive forces. After the loss of 3 border systems and thousands of civilian casualties, the Compact Council had made an unprecedented request. They asked humanity to lead the defense against the Caldari threat. The Human Defense Directive was controversial on both sides. Many compact species remained deeply uncomfortable with human perception, even while acknowledging its military value. And many humans questioned becoming the frontline defense for a galactic community that still treated them with suspicion. Admiral Chen paced the bridge of the EDF flagship Thermopylae, studying the tactical display of Rigel's system. The delicate dance of 25 human vessels integrating with the existing compact defense fleet was proceeding better than expected. Years of training simulations for potential first contact scenarios were finally proving useful, albeit in circumstances no one had anticipated. Admiral, the Vexeri battle group has synchronized their targeting systems with our perceptual data, reported Captain Rice, now his tactical operations officer. The Alori support vessels are in position. We have achieved full spectrum integration across all allied ships. Chen nodded, studying the holographic display. The human ships were integrated with volunteer crew members from 12 compact species, creating the first truly multi-species combat force in compact history. Each human vessel had specialists from at least 3 different species aboard, focused on translating human perceptual data into forms their own ships could utilize. "Any word from our deep space sensors?" Chen asked. "Nothing yet," Rise replied. "But the Aelori predict arrival within 2 hours. Their quantum disturbance detectors are registering preliminary ripples consistent with Keldari drive signatures." The integration of human ships into the compact defense fleet had been challenging. Human vessels weren't merely military assets, they were now critical sensory nodes for the entire defensive network. Each human ship could perceive the quantum displacement fields that made Keldari vessels nearly invisible to conventional sensors, providing targeting data for the entire fleet. "Commander Varric is requesting final confirmation of Protocol Sigma," Lieutenant Kim reported from communications. "The Vraxian captains are still expressing concerns about direct neural linkage." Chen sighed. The Vraxians had been the last to accept the neural synchronization protocol, the process that allowed human perceptual data to be shared directly with ally vessels. Their biologically armored nervous systems made them particularly sensitive to external neural interfaces. "Tell them they may maintain secondary shields on their neural cores, but they must accept the targeting data. We cannot afford blind spots in our defensive grid." As preparations continued, Rise approached the Admiral privately. "Sir, long-range scouts have detected something concerning. The Keldari fleet is significantly larger than intelligence predicted, at least 70 vessels, including 3 Dreadnought-class ships we haven't encountered before." Chen's expression remained neutral, but his eyes betrayed his concern. "Have you informed the compact commanders?" "Not yet. I wanted your assessment first." 3 dreadnoughts changes the equation," Chen mused. "They're expecting us to make a stand here. This isn't just another advance, it's a deliberate attempt to eliminate our integrated fleet." Before they could discuss further, the tactical alert blared. "Contact. Multiple signatures emerging at the system edge," announced the sensor officer. "Counting 40, 50, 73 distinct vessels. Quantum displacement active across all signatures." The battle began disastrously. The Keldari arrived with a fleet 3 times larger than intelligence had predicted, using their quantum displacement technology to appear and disappear across the battlefield. Their tactics showed a new sophistication. They specifically targeted communication nodes between human and compact vessels, attempting to isolate the human perceptual advantage. In the chaos, Admiral Chen's flagship took a direct hit to its bridge. Emergency force fields contained the atmospheric breach, but Chen and half the bridge crew were killed instantly. Command fell to Captain Rice, now aboard the destroyer Thermopylae. "This is Captain Rice assuming fleet command," she broadcast across the battle network. "All human vessels, initiate Protocol Omega. Repeat, Protocol Omega is now active." Rather than retreat, Rise implemented the strategy she had been developing with Aelori scientists, a last resort option that Chen had authorized but hoped never to use. Human crew members temporarily linked their perceptual abilities through a modified Aelori neural network, creating a shared quantum perception field that covered the entire battle space. The neural synchronization was disorienting at first. Each human participant experienced a momentary vertigo as their perception expanded beyond normal limits, taking in the quantum states of the entire system simultaneously. The sensation was overwhelming. Thousands of vessels, planets, and spatial anomalies all perceived at once. But the Aelori training proved effective. The human operators adjusted quickly, focusing their shared perception on the Keldari fleet. For the first time, the advantage shifted. The human-led compact fleet could track the Keldari phantom ships through their displacement jumps, predicting where they would reappear before they'd fully materialized. "Target lock on Keldari flagship," announced the weapons officer, his voice strained from the neural synchronization effort. Firing solution transmitted to compact vessels. A coordinated barrage from 17 ships struck the Keldari command vessel as it emerged from displacement, catching it with shields only partially formed. The massive ship shuddered under the impact, its displacement field fluctuating wildly. The Kildare, realizing their advantage was gone, deployed their secret weapon. A massive vessel at the center of their formation activated a previously unseen technology. A wave of energy pulsed outward, targeting neural functions across species. Compact crew members fell unconscious across the fleet, their neural interfaces overloaded by the precisely calibrated attack. But the humans remained unaffected. Their natural quantum perception somehow shielded them from the weapon designed to target technological neural interfaces. As the only conscious crew members across the fleet, human personnel manually operated their vessels and launched a desperate counterattack. All human operators, take control of Allied vessels' emergency systems, Rise ordered through the synchronized network. Defensive positions only. Focus fire on the central Kildare vessel. The battle became a test of human adaptability. Human officers with minimal training on alien systems worked frantically to maintain basic defensive capabilities on Allied vessels. Their natural perceptual abilities allowed them to understand alien interfaces intuitively, bypassing complex control systems to access core functions. The Kildare pressed their advantage, closing on the weakened compact fleet, but they had not anticipated the resilience of the human operators or their ability to adapt to alien technology. Rais directed all available firepower at the Kildare neural disruptor vessel, without displacement technology to protect it. The massive energy requirements of the neural weapon prevented simultaneous displacement. The ship took devastating damage under the concentrated fire. When the neural weapon finally failed, compact crews began to recover. The battle shifted again as Allied vessels returned to full operation, now guided by the precise targeting data from the Human Perception Network. The Kildare fleet, having committed fully to their surprise attack, found themselves without a viable retreat strategy. Their losses mounted as the coordinated compact human fleet systematically targeted their command vessels. 3 hours later, the battle ended with a decisive compact victory, the first since the war began. 42 Kildare vessels destroyed, 17 captured, and the remainder retreating in disarray. The captured Kildare flagship revealed the full extent of their plans. They had been harvesting human neural tissue to create a new generation of officers who could perceive reality as humans did naturally. The neural weapon had been designed specifically to incapacitate the compact allies while leaving modified Kildare, and inadvertently, humans, unaffected. As recovery operations began, Rais received word that she had been formally promoted to admiral following Chen's death. Her first act was to visit the medical bay, where human crew members who had participated in the synchronized perception network were recovering. Many showed signs of neural strain, headaches, perceptual distortions, difficulty refocusing on normal sensory input. The Alori medical specialists insisted the effects would be temporary, but the cost of their victory was evident in the exhausted faces of the human operators. The synchronization protocol exceeded expectations, reported Dr. Patel, who had monitored the neural network throughout the battle. But the strain on human neural structures was significant. We can't use this approach regularly without risk of permanent damage. Rais nodded grimly. Understood. But today it saved the Rigel system, and possibly the entire compact defense strategy. As she left the medical bay, Rais received an urgent communication from Earth Defense Command. Analysis of captured Kildare technology confirmed their worst fears. The Kildare had achieved a breakthrough in neural integration. The next generation of their modified troops would have much more stable and effective human neural grafts. The message from Fleet Command was simple: hold Rigel at all costs. Reinforcements en route. Earth now preparing for possible direct assault. The victory had been significant, but the war was far from over. The Kildare would adapt their strategies, improve their neural integration techniques, and return with new weapons designed to counter human advantages. As Rais issued orders for fleet redeployment, she reflected on humanity's strange position. They had entered the galactic community less than a year ago, seeking peaceful contact with other intelligent life. Now they were the linchpin of the compact's defense strategy, their unique perceptual abilities both their greatest strength and the reason they were targeted. The Human Defense Directive had succeeded in its first major test, but at a cost that couldn't be sustained long-term. They needed a more permanent solution, one that didn't require humans to burn out their neural pathways to compensate for alien technological limitations. The answer, Rice suspected, lay not in better weapons or strategies, but in the fundamental nature of human perception itself. If they could understand why humans naturally perceived quantum states that other species couldn't, perhaps they could find a way to share that gift without sacrifice, or prevent it from being stolen through barbaric neural harvesting. The war reached its crisis point at the Battle of Proxima Centauri. The Caldari, desperate after a series of defeats, launched an all-out assault on humanity's oldest colony. Their fleet included a new weapon, the Mindbreaker, designed specifically to attack human perception by creating quantum disruption fields that would render human operators blind to quantum states. Admiral Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship Athena, named after the vessel where humanity's journey into the galactic community had begun. The ship had been rebuilt, enhanced with technologies from a dozen alien species, but its core systems still relied on the unique human approach to quantum perception. Caldari Fleet on approach vector, reported Lieutenant Commander Park, his hand steady on the tactical controls despite the tension filling the bridge. 86 vessels confirmed, including the 3 dreadnoughts from intelligence reports. Ray studied the holographic display where the enemy fleet appeared as shimmering phantoms, visible to human perception, but translucent and ghost-like even to their enhanced sensors. The Caldari had improved their quantum displacement technology, making their vessels even more difficult to track. Time to intercept: 17 minutes at current velocity. The combined human compact defense fleet was impressive. 37 human vessels and over 60 compact ships from 14 different species. After 6 months of fighting together, they had developed effective integration protocols that minimized the discomfort alien species felt from human perceptual abilities, while maximizing tactical advantages. All ships maintain formation Delta. Rise ordered. Human perception vessels activate synchronization networks but maintain individual shielding. We've trained for this. The threat was not just to Proxima Centauri, but to humanity's future. Intelligence from captured Caldari officers had revealed Supreme Commander Valkis's ultimate goal: to capture intact human neural structures and perfect the integration process that would give Caldari forces permanent access to human perceptual abilities. As the Caldari fleet approached, Rise faced not only a military challenge but a moral one. The Aelori scientists had developed a countermeasure, a quantum amplification device that would enhance human perceptual abilities to unprecedented levels, allowing them to penetrate all Caldari defenses and potentially even perceive the thoughts of Caldari crews directly. Dr. Elisa Nguyen, rescued in a daring raid on a Caldari research facility 3 weeks earlier, had been instrumental in developing the technology. Still recovering from her captivity, she had insisted on being present for this battle. "The amplifier is ready, Admiral," she reported from the science station, her face bearing scars from Caldari experimentation. "But I must emphasize again, the effect on Caldari crews will be catastrophic. Their modified neural structures will be overloaded. This isn't just a tactical advantage. It's a weapon that targets consciousness itself. This technology would give humanity an absolute advantage, but at what cost? It would transform human perception from a natural ability into a weaponized intrusion that went beyond anything the Compact had feared when they first encountered humans." "Understood, Doctor. We'll use it only if absolutely necessary." As the Caldari fleet entered the outer defense perimeter, Supreme Commander Valkis transmitted an unexpected message. "Admiral Rice, the time for proxies and partial measures has ended. We meet directly at last." The Caldari commander appeared on the view screen, a massive insectoid being with extensive cybernetic augmentations and an exoskeleton reinforced with metallic components. Most disturbing were his eyes, unnaturally blue, with a perception that seemed to reach through the communication channel. "We have perfected the integration process," Valkis continued, mandibles clicking rhythmically. "Our elite crews now have full human perceptual abilities, without the instability of earlier subjects. Your advantage is gone." The claim sent a chill through the bridge. Intelligence had warned this breakthrough might be close, but if Valkis was telling the truth, the tactical situation had just changed dramatically. "I offer you one opportunity to surrender," Valkis concluded. "All human military personnel will be treated according to compact war conventions. Civilian populations will remain unharmed. Refuse, and we will demonstrate the true power of your perceptual abilities in Keldari hands." Reyes had minutes to decide whether to deploy the quantum amplification device. Using it would violate the very principles of neural sovereignty that humanity had been trying to respect since joining the compact. "The Keldari forces are deploying in attack formation," reported the tactical officer. "Displacement fields active across their fleet. They'll be in firing range in 3 minutes." Dr. Nguyen approached Reyes, speaking quietly. "There's an alternative. The work we've been doing with the Alori, it's ready for field testing. Not the amplifier, but the synchronizer." During the months of war, Reyes had authorized parallel research tracks. While one team developed weapons to counter Keldari aggression, another had worked with Alori scientists on a more peaceful application of human perceptual abilities. "You're certain it's ready?" Reyes asked. "As ready as it can be without full combat testing," Nguyen confirmed. "But it requires volunteer participation from our allies. We can't force this on them." Reyes made her decision. Open a channel to all compact vessels. The communication system activated, connecting the Athena to their allied fleet. "This is Admiral Reyes to all compact vessels. The Keldari have claimed a breakthrough in human neural integration. We have 2 options: deploy an amplification weapon that will devastate their forces, or attempt synchronization. The choice must be yours. Any vessel with crew members willing to participate in synchronization, signal now. All others may withdraw to secondary defensive positions without prejudice." For several tense moments, no responses came. Then, one by one, acknowledgements began appearing on the tactical display. First the Alori vessels, then the Vexari, followed by representatives from a dozen other species. Over 40 ships signaled their willingness to participate. "Initiate synchronization protocol," Reyes ordered. Working with Alori and human scientists, they had discovered that human quantum perception could be shared, not by harvesting neural tissue, but through a consensual synchronization process. The technology created a temporary link that allowed non-human species to experience human perception while maintaining their own neural sovereignty. As the Keldari fleet engaged, Reyes activated the synchronization network. Across the compact fleet, volunteer crew members experienced human perception for the first time, not as an invasion, but as a shared sense. The effect on the battle was immediate. Compact gunners could now see through the Keldari Phantom technology. More importantly, they could perceive the instability in the Keldari neural graphs, the unnatural integration of stolen human tissue with Keldari nervous systems. "All vessels, target the command ships," Reyes ordered. "Their neural integration is creating distinctive quantum signatures